All right, hello. I'm Sean, Librarian Writer Geek. Uh, Librarian Writer Geek on Twitch and YouTube. My personal website, SC Tadson. I will update it at some point. I swear. Right now, there's just links to all my stuff there anyway. And SC Tadson, Blue Sky, whatever, at on Blue Sky, the only social media I'm actually in any way remotely active on. Okay, now that done. Done. Yeah, we're gonna continue looking at flip through through whatever of against the Darkmaster, the against the Darkmaster complete rule book. Hmm, sorry. Uh, Tonight, and then I think next week is going to be uh showing it showing it in action. So that's the plan at least for right now. Okay, but a little thing. Not gonna get too bit deep in the stuff, but just pure recommendation from me. If you have any ability to watch stuff on stream HBO stuff, uh, Max, HBO, whatever they want to call it, um, definitely check out Creature Command. Was it Creature Commandos? The new James Gunn DC animated show. I'm gonna double check what it's called. Let me double check. Yeah, Creature Commandos. It's they just released episode 3, I think, today. It had to have been like today, I think. Um, and it's just so good. It's so good and wonderful, and it makes me happy, and it's fun and funny, and but reminder, this is James Gunn. If you've seen his previous entries in the DC universe, that stuff, the Suicide Squad movie and or the Peacemaker live action show. Yeah, you'll have some idea of what to expect from Creature Commandos, and yeah, yeah, Warner, HBO, DC, whoever, that they're a lot willing to let him. They're giving him much more leeway to do some stuff than Marvel ever did. And I'm not complaining about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Those are great and wonderful, and I've loved the ones I've seen. I still have not seen the third one, but I've loved them and I've enjoyed them. But it is like, yeah, okay, if you really just let James Gunn do what wants, he produces some really great content. All I'm gonna say is, episode 3. There's okay, so like minor spoilers. It's I'll try not to get anything too big detailed, but there's a character in the show called GI Robot. He's a robot who was invented during World War II, and his whole thing is that he wants to kill Nazis. That's all he wants to do. That's all he talks about wanting to do. He's constantly asking, like, is anybody in here a Nazi? Are there Nazis here? Can I kill them? You know, just, it's great. But and finally, episode 3, someone finally said, yes, yes, those are Nazis over there. Yes. And he's just so happy. He's so happy. It's wonderful. It's amazing how expressive he can be just for like not actually have like only having like a hinged jaw. It's great, but it's so good. Check it out. It's wonderful. Full. I mean, unless you're the kind of person who thinks, you know, unless you're a certain type of unless you're the type of person who got offended by the idea of a robot that enjoys killing Nazis, yeah, you're not gonna. If you're that kind of person who's bothered by that, you're not gonna enjoy this. Okay. Anyway, with all that said, let's do the last thing. Okay. Uh, um, so, this is your, see, beep, beep. Okie dokie, and we're gonna pin that. Okay. All right. And let's get into looking more at Against the Darkmaster. Let's continue looking at this. All right. I feel like I should have some background audio or something, but I never think about that. All right. So I believe last time we got through at least glancing at the mechanics because, oh my gosh, there's so many mechanics. Uh, and I think we're going to mostly take a look at Book 3, Tales of Legend, which is basically the GM portion of the rules. Once again, absolutely wonderful art. Love it. I love this. I love this art. I love these characters in these various situations. It's very cool. All right, so yeah, but this is the prepping game GM specific stuff. So obviously, so yeah, sure, we're gonna start with some basic principles and all that stuff. Uh, yeah, sure. Describe a living world. World without being verbose, try to make the world feel vibrant and interesting by presenting dynamic situations. When possible, okay, yeah. So that's actually good. That just general good advice. Yeah. Use pictures, map, or other props to help players visualize situations. Sure, make the world feel alive. Give your players give the players challenges, something to do, something to overcome, someone to overcome. Come. Yeah, play by the rules. That sounds like a good thing. Hey, don't go arbitrarily changing rules and stuff just because you can. I'm a little if I am admittedly a little iffy on this. Like, okay, what's it- fine, if I no, 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 yeah. Temptation to do something like that, modifying rules on the fly, ignoring the result of a roll, whatever. However, for the story's sake, can be strong, but keep in mind that the story is simply what emerges from the player's choices and the character's actions in the game. On the one hand, I get what they're saying, like, don't go bending the rules just because, the story, hey, sometimes the story is better for it if you don't do that, but I don't know. I I am always I am personally of the opinion that, telling a good story, telling something that everybody enjoys comes should come before the rules. Like anytime I get asked about advice about like, what to do, you know, running games and whatnot, my first piece of advice is like, hey, if everybody's having fun, you're doing it right. So yeah, all the stuff about, mechanics, all that stuff. Yeah, you could totally just toss the whole combat system of this game and use use very different stuff. And as long as everybody's having fun, who cares? The point is to have fun. Spotlight passions, yeah, definitely getting that. Yeah, definitely get that idea. Your players come up with this, so try to play off of that. Yeah, yeah. Let the heroes decide their fate. Yeah, you know, DM drives describe the situation, control NPCs, and create challenges. Coming up with solutions to those challenges and deciding what to do about them is the player's job. That's fair. Yeah. I think I've seen a number of videos that recently they're like, okay, hey, I don't know, some different game running advice that's like essentially, yeah, don't come up with solutions to stuff. Just come up with problems, come up with puzzles, and see what the players do to figure it out. And make the game yours. Sure, yeah. GF should alter the game rules to adapt them to the campaign and the group's preferences. If you think a rule doesn't match your playstyle or the campaign's tone, or find applying one of the in some situations wouldn't make sense or would make the game less fun, tell the group to do group so and find a solution to the issue together. Sure. Okay. So I guess mostly this in combination with this, I'm generally going to take the stance of, oh, it should be combining those. I'm taking that as, don't just do change stuff or ignore a rule or whatever as you go. Oh, but if you're going to do that, make sure that everybody's okay with it. So I guess that's not terrible. All right. Okay. Prepping game. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. They're actually giving you a step by step ideas. Oh boy. Yeah. Hey, sure. Coming up with a pitch for your game. Always a good idea. Yes. Idea about something happening at a village festival, kind of trope of fantasy fiction. We know involve iconic low-level enemies set during the winter because we like the idea of having weather play important. Sure, okay. Midwinter Festival is usually a joyous occasion for inhabitants of the village of Still Grove, but yet this year something terrible is about to happen. Dun dun dun. Yeah, okay, yeah. Get your group, make your PC. He's, yeah, you're there. Yeah. So, see the tail when it's try leave options open and NPC sees land. Think about scenario setup where events of the adventure will unfold. Depending on scenario, it could be big as a whole kingdom or small as a single ruined tower, but you'll need to have at least a general idea of layout of the main features. You may sketch a map or graph some of the internet. Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. Uh, Start players consequences. Say what's happen if PCs don't intervene. Think about what villains are up to. Assume their plans will be successful unless the heroes do something to thwart them. Don't anticipate. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sure. Okay. Last, they created a list of additional obstacles, hazards, and the complications the heroes might encounter during the course of the adventure. Come in handy later when players fail some rolls or do something unexpected. Hecky duck. Sure. Ah, okay. So we now moved from prepping for a simple adventure, whatever, to okay, moving campaign. Okay. Oh, ooh boy. Prep campaign is more about setting expectations and mood, then saying what will happen. Da-da-da-da. More time to introduce elements you come up with. Campaign setting. Okay. Worlds of fantasy sagas usually have long histories full of great battles, tragic betrayals, and tales of heroism. If you're using a published setting or basing it on a book series, you can already have a rich, detailed chronicle history of the world. If you're creating your own, don't panic. You don't need to write hundreds of pages of historical events. Focus on what's important for your campaign and write a few notes about that. That's later. Heck, neat. And actually, I think I did glance at this bit because I have been looking at trying to do this. Okay. Yeah, the more collaborative approach to world building. Consent use this option. Players gain power of establishing facts about the world's history during the game. Facts must concern something that characters could arguably know and cannot contradict what's already established either by other players or the GM. Players state what their character knows and make a songs and tales roll. If they succeed, the character remembers facts correctly and its lore becomes part of the canon of the campaign. If they fail or are only partially successful, information of the character's possessions prove to be distorted, misleading, or just plain wrong. See, I like that. I think that's very cool, especially from a because I like fantasy and whatnot. I'm one of those people who loves world building and whatnot. But this is very cool because yeah, not having to devise every single bit of lore about a world, it not having to devise everything and leaving some of it up to players. That sounds kind of fun to me for reasons. And okay, should you allow certain things in your game or not? Major political and military powers, magic and faith, rules purposely vague about topics like source of magic and role those who wield it in the world, or force it. Few basic assumptions which these rules are written. Magic is supposed to be known but rare and mysterious enough to be cause of wonderment among common folk. Supernatural entities like deities are surely revered by mortals, but rarely ever intervene in their affairs. And of course, false assumptions should feel free to explore them. Okay. Uh, there's at least a little bit in here about, hey, if you want to generate a new culture, here's how you do it. Hey, sure, okay, probably want to do this with the group, or at least a couple sharing info with players. Basically, yeah, sure. Generate 21 ranks among different skills. Interesting that we put athletics and perception. I'm pretty sure there's some cultures that don't have those. No more than 4 ranks assigned to a single combat skill. No more than two to spell lores. No more than 5 to any other skill. Max of one skill with 4 or more ranks assigned to it. Armor and clothing. Weapons and general gear, yada yada yada. Okay. Starting wealth level, sure. Okay. And once you come up with it, share it with the rest of the group. Go, okay, what do we think? Does this sound broken or not? Let's see. NPCs and opponents. Yeah, most NPCs won't be lengthy, won't need lengthy descriptions. This is, yeah, the important NPCs and opponents. And a handy table of random quirks for NPCs in case you just want to give them a little more flavor or whatever, you know, something other than spear carrier or what have you. Give them a little bit of details. Let's see, opponents. All right, so okay, common. Most part of Darkmaster's host, heroes will face more frequently, generally weaker and have worse stats than the hero of the same level, usually fewer, no special abilities at all. Strength is in numbers, encounter in large groups. No stat bonuses or single stat bonus with +5 or 10. Elite opponents, rare, often found leading small groups or war bands of common opponents. Great adventure PCs fight more viciously, less encountered either alone or in small groups, from 25 to 40 points distributed among their stats. Okay. Your wild trolls, dark orc chieftains, dire bears, basic or your elite opponents for a third or fourth level party. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is getting into building enemies. Assume if you are into that kind of thing. Sure. Okay. Tanger's most dangerous, 50 to 75 points amongst stats. Level can be up to 2 or 3 times average level of the PCs. Generally, the main villains of the campaign, or at least significant story arc. Should be carefully fleshed out. Greater giants, fire drakes, krakens for 7th or 8th level parties. So that's like end game type stuff. Generating opponents, yeah. Built like heroes using rules for character creation, but that's a lengthy process should be reserved for only for major antagonists most of the time. And use quick opponent creation table will present it here. Generate monsters. Opponent type. Make the opponent type common, elite, or antagonist. Base hit points added to their total, depending on how the table below, based on size. So, your average regular medium-sized person is going to have somewhere around maybe 30 hit points as a base. Hit points, ranks, level. Number of ranks the creature has in the body skill. Okay, yeah, okay. I do kind of like that they just simplified it to different attacks. They don't necessarily give you specific weapons, and this will, when if we actually get to the beast to the list of enemies, the bestiary, however you pronounce it, bestiary, whatever. Yeah, you'll get to see some actual enemy stat blocks, and it does just say, like primary attack, secondary attack, etc., etc. So yeah, sure. Number of ranks creature starts with a primary combat skill, plus no ranks it gains each level in its primary combat skills. I don't know why that matters, but I guess sure. Well, I guess if you're doing level, Building it by levels. Yeah, okay. Sure. Secondary attack, primary skill. Number of ranks creature has the most important used skill category or your other and other stuff. Subject. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Uh, let's just go streaming. Get to ah. I I'm good. Am I this fell up? Let's just go streaming. Get to know you better. Hmm. See, I'm questioning this because I don't. Hmm. Okay. What? I'm sorry. So, what are you enjoying about my stream in particular, if you don't mind me asking? 'Cause, yeah, I'm getting the I'm getting the vibe here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That. I'm sorry. That looked like. Sorry. That kind of had a bot type feeling to it. Sorry. It's like you're asking. Here, let's talk more on Discord. Like, that's kind of weird and random that you would ask to do that. Why aren't you talking here? Okay. Anyway, back to this stuff. Anyway, now kin bonuses. So opponents who create opponents belonging to playable kin consider applying kin bonuses to their stats, particularly elites and antagonists. Good point. Okay. Same traits other species special abilities like background options. Don't bother calculating kin bonuses for opponents that don't belong to any kin, like beasts or monsters, etc. Special abilities. Ah, yeah. So, because sometimes you got to get special abilities used to inject flavor. Any new special ability or changing one of those normally possessed by a creature is all it takes to create a whole new opponent. Type of damage dealt by Dragon's Breath from fire to frost is a quick way to turn a fire drake into an ice worm. Seems simple enough. Common opponents usually have no special abilities except those granted by kin like Night Sight, but you can give them one if they think particularly appropriate. Elite opponents have at least one, up to three. Antagonists have as many special abilities as you want. Okay. Let's see. Hordes of mooks. Facing battlefield, numerous ranks of low worth expendable foes. Consider using the Hordes of Mooks rules presented here to speed up the game. Multiplied as mooks. Must be relatively low level compared to characters. Up to one third the character's average level must be common. Here's melee against two mooks that kills any of them with a single strike. Can immediately make another melee attack. Two-handed weapons deal 1.5 normal base damage. Severity of criticals against mooks raised by at least one. Ordinary attack spells deal 1.5 times normal base damage. Okay, sure. Basically, hey, yeah, it's the end of Fellowship. you're gonna get attacked by a huge horde of enemies. Let's make y'all feel like badasses. Advice for opponents. Common opponents considered defeated if the penalties they're suffering from are equal to or greater than half their combat at or minus 50, equivalent to serious injury, whichever is higher, bruised, wounded for more than half their hit points, or suffering from severe bleeding. Group of common opponents facing PCs, GM may decide to try to flee, surrender, or whatever. Elites can be considered defeated if accrue penalties equal to half their CMB or minus 75, whichever is higher. Generally better trained than common opponents and more confident in their abilities. Antagonists that have a valid reason will fight to the death. GM should drive into the NPC's motivation to dive rather into. Ancient Dragon probably won't fight to the death unless it's really angry. If it has any other choice, because it feels its life is more precious and important than pride pride most of the time. On the other hand, a white or undead will carry on until own annihilation. Why fear death when you've already returned from it once? Good. Interesting. They punish that they flee, better die. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they are giving some advice for actually running monsters, running enemies. Like, you know, hey, wow, unless it's like unless it's like an animal or something. Well, yeah. Wild animals and most intelligent creatures will usually try to avoid fighting to the death unless cornered or starving. Unless a valid reason to stay in combat risk death, permanent injury, most opponents will flee if injured or confronting an opposition far more powerful than them. Yeah, okay. Opponents benefit from drive, depends on the group. Common and elite should never have any drive since meant to be minor obstacles. Antagonists could have some drive to spend, only if they're intelligent and play an important part of the story. No reason. Greater giant. Okay, sure. Ah, okay, reaction rolls. Ooh, creepy art. Love it. Sorry. Not sure how a particular NPC or group of NPCs act on meeting heroes or react to their actions. Resolve the situation with the reaction roll. Okay, sure. How does this work? Open and roll. No skill bonus. Add or subtract a small number situation to modify. Characters incur minus 10 if they aren't wearing appropriate clothing or are an audience with local lord, or it might be modified by plus 10 if they can bring gifts and offerings. Okay. Seems fair. Yeah, okay, sure. Maybe. All right. Again, creepy. Love this. Love the art. Love this art. Oh gosh. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's so wonderful. Okay. So, the Darkmaster. So yeah, for a game called Against the Darkmaster, the actual nature of the eponymous Darkmaster is it's not defined. There's no set rules. There's no set here is what the Dark Master is. Here's what the Dark Master's like. The Dark Master can be whatever you want them to be. Doesn't have to be. It's yeah. I mean, they call it the Dark Master. They use masculine pronouns when referring to the Dark Master, but the Dark Master is basically whatever is needed as the big bad motivating all doing all the evil things. Uh, yeah, let's see what we got here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they've got some advice on creating one. That depends on tail. Group wants to tell. Create Darkmaster. Give epithet. Define powers. Minions. Yeah, okay. And if you want to do this purely randomly, they do have a lovely table here. You want to come up with what they're called? Sure. Or an epithet for the Dark Master, or because what do you get it? Come up with a name, make up a name for it. The something noun of or from stuff. I feel like it. Yeah. Uh, say Lord King, God's da, da, da. Darkmaster know by different names and wears a different face in each world he besieges. Sometimes passing of strange eons, the form he wears changes, but usually each world there's a single embodiment or avatar of the Darkmaster at any given time. Since no one knows the Darkmaster's true name, Avatar is often given an epithet describes his transient state at that particular point of time and space. You name Darkmaster given an epithet that echoes his most prominent traits. Make it eerie and suggestive without revealing too much about his true nature. Uh, a coveted artifact, of course, because where did Darkmaster come from? Appearance and symbol, goals. Darkmaster is working on some nefarious plan and will not rest until the whole creation is destroyed or enslaved. Maybe searching for a coveted artifact bound to him by fate, the key to both his perpetual triumph and ultimate destruction. Or might be intent on crushing the last few rebels opposed to domain of terror, or amassing greatest army the world has ever seen. He can smash down like once for all. Uh, so yeah, sure. Why not have a special magic MacGuffin? It's a thing. It has some special. Actually, no. This is just. Yeah. No. Each of these is. Yeah. Where the ring gets subtle power, but bound to the will of the dark. But is bound to the will of the Dark Master and will become one of his servants in due time. But if the ring should the ring be broken, the Dark Master will be banished from the mortal world. Typical. Sword slays any foe, but must be take. Sword slays any foe, but must take a life anytime it is drawn. That's classic. In the end, it should take the life of its wielder or someone they love. Yep, yep. That's like I'm pretty sure that's like straight up from Norse mythology, actually. Hmm. Oh, we have a cauldron, of course. Cauldron spawns an unholy brood and brews powerful potions. However, Cauldron breed will die with the Dark Master. Dark Master is doomed to fall inside the cauldron to his death. Whoa. The bestows bear holy powers to heal and banish on life, but fated to become a martyr. If the amulet is put upon the Dark Master, it will strip away him, strip him of his otherworldly powers, making him mortal. Skull. Nice. Skull of an ancient king or champion who once defeated the Dark Master. Skull will bestow unearthly powers on its wielder, but will doom them to seek and destroy the Dark Master. Dark Master will be eventually defeated by the bearer of the skull, but both will be slain. The skull is the new champion. Skull of the new champion will replace the former. Hmm. Hmm. So yeah, you know, where the Darkmaster, where the Darkmaster, particular version of the Darkmaster comes from. What is this particular version of the What does your version of the Darkmaster look like? Like, do they have a particular symbol? You know, obviously, goals, servants. Hey, what type of things? You know, obviously, you could protect. Uh, Let's see. Let's choose the tennis for the most powerful creature described there. Bulk of Darkmaster there. All creatures of great power easily serve as main villains of several scenarios, even whole campaigns. Both the Darkmaster's forces will be made up of low-level minions. Choose 2 or 3 creatures and stick with them to make the hero's opponents more distinctive and avoid falling into the fantasy kitchen sink trap. Darkmaster also has spies, messengers, and informers. Choose creatures prone to stealth, etc., etc. Like, yeah, or that can easily pass among. Sure. And the dark place. You know, what what's the Dark Master's lair? What's the tower? What's your version of the Tower of Barad-dûr in the land of Mordor? And here's a table if you need an idea. What kind of powers does your Dark Master have? See what are their what's their most appropriate Dark Master powers from examples below, choosing those best fit your campaign. These are fear saves. Huh. Okay, I don't remember. Okay, but yeah, we have a list of power options. So yeah, uh, the Darkmaster is the standard play mode where Darkmaster has no additional powers besides those already ingrained in the game rules. Unless specified otherwise, Darkmaster official adventures and products are written with this play mode in mind. Even if you're new to the game, don't want to introduce further complexity, or just want your setting to have more traditional fantasy feel. So yeah, it's Darkmaster Prime, basically. Not giving you any more special powers and stuff, but maybe we'll see. Got some options. Anytime the hero's meet Twisted Abomination serves Darkmaster for the first time, make a will save against fear. Use the special fear save roll table when making saves against fear effects. Okay, there we go. That's what that does. Devious War Master. For administrating of each army, oh boy. I don't know if we're going to get into that. His face is raised by 1 point. Elite opponents and antagonists always declare their action after the piece is in combat. Oh dear. Life Scourge, Dark Temptation, Fimbulvinter, Strange Dream, Sower of Discord, etc. And of course, yeah, Dark Magic and Taint. Not gonna call that. So yeah, that we have two. There are actually two spell lore specifically associated with the villains, those being necromancy and dark sorcery. It's great. I love it. And taint, corruption. Yes, the players can become corrupted over time. Always result from a conscious decision. And yeah, our passions. Taint attacks a character's passions, corrupting them and turning them into mockeries of what character held sacred. A separate taint may must change one of their available passions into a dark passion. Motivation becomes an obsession. Allegiance. First, the motivation becomes an obsession. Then their allegiance turns into a dark oath. And lastly, their nature turns into a perversion and characters removed from play. An obsession take the motivation and bring it to the extreme. Okay, sure. Sure. That tracks. Yeah. Slow corruption will turn you it, twist you up and make you into the bad guy. Great. That's awesome. Up. Yep. And redemption, obviously. Give them a possibility, have them have a possibility of redemption, obviously. And yeah, and yeah, we bring up, yeah, this is not a sword and sorcery type game. This is not heroic this is not that kind of D&D low fantasy type stuff of where you can actually kill the bad guy. One of the pillars of fantasy is that the Darkmaster cannot be defeated by normal means. Follows an epochal event attainable only after enormous sacrifices. So, yeah, you, you cannot just kill Sauron. You cannot just face Sauron in combat and kill him. You have to go through. There's a whole thing. Darkmaster does not have stats. Heroes cannot fight him or defeat him with their weapons and spells, however mighty. Their only hope is doing exactly what protagonists of epic sagas do: undergo perilous quest to find a way to thwart his plans and free their world from his tyrannical grasp. And another awesome piece of artwork that I'm sure looks much better. Does it look better? Oh yeah. Yep. Much cooler in the two-page spread version. And yeah, we have several examples of already pre-created Dark Masters. I love how they switch up the font and page color. So this is white text on black pages. It's just be special. It's so cool. Yeah. So presumably this is our default Dark Master, the Horned King of Anon. Yeah, he's scary. Yeah, yeah. He's the Dark Cauldron. Yeah, this is yeah. The Horned King is absolutely. I believe this is actually one of the bad guys. Either a combination of things from the actual Chronicles of Prydain books slash the Dark Cauldron Disney movie, which side note is should absolutely get a live action remake because like maybe they could do it better. Anyway, but once again, yep, here he is looking presiding over stuff as the heroes have been captured. Uh, the Witch Queen of Despair, another option. And she actually has a special power, the Dark Temptation. The Horned King does not have any special powers because again, he is sort of the basic version, but he works. He works. He doesn't need special powers. He has an army of undead servants and whatnot. undead and demons and shit. It's great. You don't need your help. He doesn't need special magic powers. And finally, the Blood Lord of War. Sure, okay. And yeah, this is just oh god, big, yeah, six-armed giant, tall as a tower, clad in impenetrable brass armor. Yeah, just giant, this huge killing machine. And his power is again the as the Lord of War, as Blood Lord of War. He is apparently a also a really great strategist. Not something you'd expect from from something that big, but holy crap. I feel like that's a lot bigger than the size of a tower, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares? It's a cool piece of artwork. It looks awesome. That's what it needs to do. Have a quick look. This is sort of a glimpse of what the grimoire section looks like. Going back to the spellcasting stuff. Obviously, hey, the villain has to have certain level of whatever. Has to be the level of this as well as having enough ranks in the this particular school of magic to in order to cast the spell. I'm pretty sure this is the only one where the first level is an actual damaging attack spell. Like everything else is like, yeah, no, you want the stuff if you want the stuff that does actual damage, you have to go that's a couple more ranks in. That's like two or three ranks it levels it, weaves it, levels or whatever in. It's like cool. So if you're a wizard, you might want to hopefully you put some thought and effort into having something else, some other kind of offensive capabilities. Oof, excuse me. And yeah, necromancy, because yeah, sure, we're just gonna come out and say, yeah, necromancy is straight up evil. Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, hmm. Ah, fun. Something undead, nice. Up. And there's our guy standing on a giant pile of skulls, as he is wont to do, presumably. And more general advice about running the game, sure. Obviously, skill roll difficulty. E difficulties of conflicting actions. Yeah, okay, so right, your standard stuff is just a straight roll. Obviously, there's differing levels of difficulty and whatnot. Uh, First step values are never used to resolve actions, only as part of a skill attack or save roll. If you need to call a stat roll, consider brawn, athletics, or attack, swiftness, acrobatics, or stealth, fortitude to be athletics or toughness save, wits to be songs and tales, culture or deceit, wisdom being willpower save, songs and tales or perception. Songs and hmm, One second. There. I'll pop back here for a quick second. Isn't Songs and Tales? Hmm. Okay, we'll have to go to the actual example. Yeah. Okay. Songs and Tales uses bearing, so that's not a wisdom skill. That's weird. It's a weird example to go with. I'm not sure why you would. Okay. Anyway, sure. All right. That's whatever. Basically, yeah, if you want to make an actual stat roll, there's probably some skill you should try using instead. Item modifiers, conditions, possibilities, failures, and complications. Oh boy. Yeah. Ooh, character death. Yeah. Okay. That's a very real threat. Sure, characters are heroes, even through an uncommon destiny, but sometimes luck turns against them. Heroic death is the only fate awaiting them. When a character dies, slow the game down, let the player decide digest what happened. Death of a hero should be a highly dramatic moment. Take your time to roleplay the scene and reaction to the characters. Yeah, okay, so again, Boromir doesn't just get take a bunch of arrows to the chest and die. He manages to take down a whole bunch of Uruk-hai and somehow still and survives long enough to pass on the message. It's that, oh yeah, they kidnapped, they took Merry and Pippin. You know, make them epic and meaningful. Meaningful, yeah. So sure. Each player with a dead character engaged in the session, either letting them control some enemies, temporarily assume the role of an NPC, or take care of everyone's attack and critical strike rolls. Sure. New characters. Yeah, and always start at the same level as other members of the group, or at least level as the character with the lowest level in the fellowship. Yeah, that seems like a good idea because I feel like that's always a good idea because yeah, starting over from the very beginning, that's yeah, don't do that. Hmm. Sometimes heat of the moment players end up making very bad decisions for their characters. Times players seem to be cursed with misfortune and just can't get one dice roll right the whole evening. No matter how hard you try, there's really nothing you can do to paint some character deaths as heroic or meaningful in any way. While this uncertainty is part of the game, as no act can be truly called heroic if no risk is involved. Some groups might prefer to reserve risk of losing a character only for truly momentous scenes. Besides, use this option when one or more characters would die for reasons players don't find heroic enough. The whole group can declare them only mostly dead instead. Mostly dead characters don't die, but are incapacitated as long as GM decides decides and are considered to be suffering a crippling injury. Yikes! Furthermore, they must permanently reduce the stat of their choice by 5 points. Be careful when using this optional rule. It can be a powerful tool to help you shape the tale of heroes when used correctly, but also cause players to lose interest in the game. Yeah, fair. Time, okay, yeah, sure. Round in combat. Rounds are used in combat. Scene is, yeah. Starting sending C's, prerogative. Session, yeah, obviously, session, sure. When pieces are acting under pressure or under threat of impending catastrophe, you might want to set a doom clock to mark the passage of time. Put a 10-sided die in front of you. Set it to 0. Make sure visible to players. Announce how often this doom clock is going to escalate. For example, every round, scene, or each time a PC fails a skill roll. And what will happen if it triggers? It can be very explicit. The alarm will sound and the guards will come, or vague. Something bad's going to happen. You really don't want to trigger this doom clock. Every time it escalates, increase the face value from 1 value, then roll another d10. If the result of the roll is equal or under the value shown on the doom clock, it is triggered and the planned event occurs. Huh. Well, that's one way to really add some tension. Nice. Oof. Battle and war. Yikes. Okay. Okay. Let's see. One of the easiest ways of handling war games include one of the main themes of the campaign. Heroes often face enemies wearing a uniform, insignia of the Darkmaster, crossing war-torn landscapes, and participating in councils and strategy meetings. Feel like protecting Civil War tale, even if they never take part in the actual battle. Or easily introduce obstacle to the hero's progress. Crossing areas may be dangerous. Sooner or later, hero. Okay. DM must count each war-ridden area as an obstacle, and each fortress outpost. Sooner or later, heroes may have to face a real battle. It's not meant to deal with the intricacies of mass combat and medieval warfare. Much like I'm saying, fantasy fiction. Small skirmish, exhausting siege, or pitched battle, huge armies clash, fate of the world. Quite clear characters cannot win these conflicts by themselves, but players should always feel their actions and decisions have critical impact on the outcome of the battle. They become involved in large-scale battle, describe situation. Announce the menace rating of the enemy, ranging from 1 to 10, results, relative strength. Menace rating between 1 and 3. Enemy forces are roughly equal or perhaps hold at least slight advantage over the PCs. 4 and 6, they're considerably stronger and will require brilliant planning and heroic deeds to be defeated. 7 or more means you're facing a truly desperate situation. They're bound to lose unless they manage to pull off something really epic. Yeah, okay. Cool. Menace rating connects with strength of force changes. Strength of the force characters are aiding. Band of brigands could be menace rating 2 or 3. To a small hamlet, they're terrifying, but wouldn't be considered a problem for the king's army. When they're ready, start carrying out resolving heroes' actions. Each of the characters' plans have a chance of reducing enemies' menace rating 1 more points. Small, moderate, epic victories. Okay. Let's see. Here's besieged by a large army of orcs. Red Caps controls the fortress of Tor Varn. In the past, the walls had never been breached, but now they're manned by a few fresh recruits, vastly outnumbered by their enemies, who also carry with them strange hulking war machine never seen before. DSS menace rating for the army at 6. Yikes. After talking among themselves, players announce their characters' plans for the siege. Men are going to have to stay and defend the weakest spot of the fortress walls, leading recruits by example, inspiring them with their bravery. Tarwal and Gandro will sneak out of the fortress, shaded by morning's magic, infiltrate the enemy's camp, and sabotage the strange war machine. Deirdre wants to send help the Woad tribes living not far. There's potential consequences. Assuming the war machine will be epic while defending the walls and calling for reinforcements may be minor. Deirdre's player says she's hoped to achieve something more, but GM replies that this whole message isn't going to make that many Woad warriors join your cause. Animus revises her plan. Still bring the message personally, convince the tribe's elders they need to intervene. Yeah, all right, cool. Okay, sure. Ah. Yeah. Okay. Fighters fight under your enemy In the battlefield, roll every time they try to scale the wall. All be incredibly tedious and defeat the purpose of the rules. Yeah, it would. Scope of each skill should be slightly broadened to allow characters quickly solve combat complex skill roll. Combat skill roll used to determine how well characters fight alongside their unit. Healer to gauge the effectiveness of a character in managing the influx of wounded soldier. To defend the walls, Athelstan and Madoc will need to rally soldiers with charisma roll and lead into battle using combat skill of their choice. Athelstan with the higher skill bonus uses charisma to inspire the troops, while Madoc will roll to fight alongside the recruits. Difficulties minor -10. Da 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 da. Wow. Okay. Magic can handle similar manner instead of having characters cast spell after spell. Have the characters make a single spell casting roll against the most difficult scenario, the greatest threat they're facing, using results as benchmark to judge the outcomes of their actions. Despite Morning's magical aid, Gandril and Tobal score only partial success while infiltrating the enemy camp. GM decides the two manage to get to the war machine, but only find the orcs are about to activate it. Now they have to act twice as fast, stop them before they unleash devastating power against the fortress. Okay. Even if Kendra and Tobald haven't scored success in infiltrating the encampment, their plan should be considered a full success if they manage to stop the war machine. Okay. The heroes bring men's rating to 0 or less with their plans. Their side wins the battle. Cool. If characters do not bring the enemy's menace rating to 0, their side loses. But if the enemies lost at least some of their menace rating during the conflict, the victory is incomplete. If they suffered no menace rating loss, it is complete. If they lost less than half their original menace rating, they win, but the hero's valiant efforts suffer some minor loss or setback. If they lost half or more, should feel less. The victory should feel even less rewarding, either because of the heavy toll inflicted on their forces or because they failed to obtain an important objective. Your general may fall in battle. Okay. Okay. I suppose that is one way to handle mass combat. And okay, cool. More very cool arts. You admit. Okay. And yeah, campaign got some more interesting options. I think this is. Oh, we're still in chapter 19. Okay. Maybe on level 10. Generational play. Hmm. Low magic option. Oh boy. Yeah, they include an option for if you really want to do that Middle Earth thing. So sure, here's a alternate character vocation you can instead take. Uh, let's see. In case we want to basically toss out all the spellcasting classes, so everybody's playing either a war. So not everyone has to play either a warrior or a rogue. With kings, let's also be a good choice for game where all characters do a superstitious trait like dwarves, orcs, or halflings. That's true. Still has the heavy focus on lore ability skills, but wait, you're still getting to wait. Sages are somewhat versed in magic arts, learning casting common spells with relative ease. Play a sage if you want to be a brain interface the party using wisdom, charisma, and knowledge. Okay. Quasi-historical settings where magic is so rare to be virtually non-existent, or settings where use of magic is directly connected to the Darkmaster. Okay. All right, and finally, chapter 20, I think, which is where I think we will call it bring it to an end. Rewards. Give players drive, obviously experience, wealth level increase. Magic items. Oh boy. Yeah, there's some a number of options. Some magic item needs attunement. Attunement requires one of those. Uh-huh. Cursed items. Nice. And of course, an example curse it. Sure. Hindering, maddening, dark, beacon, ill-fated. Okay, yeah, these are a lot more. Has multiple properties, materials. Okay, items of power. Uh, and here's some example magic items. Some of them are potions. Some of them do fun stuff. Some of them are actually interesting. Like the soup stone. I like that. I like this. I think this is fun. I think this is very cute. Yeah, it's the yeah. If the stone is dropped into a pot of boiling water, it turns the liquid into a rich, flavorful broth that will feed up to two persons, relieving them of the weary one condition or of 1 day's worth of exhaustion penalties. So that's very in keeping with the halfling vibe. That's very plus a magic dagger, wielder rolls doubles. It will shatter. Ooh. And we have some special. I love that there's like some of these things have lore attached to them. I love it. It's like I don't know. You okay, and I guess maybe we can take a quick look at the bestiary. There's a lot of stuff in here. And yeah, this will be the end of it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, as I mentioned before, yeah, here's this. Here it is. Is this it? Like everything in this column is the stats for an awakened tree, and the tougher version of that, an ain'th, whatever. Eh, Boggarts and Boggles, demons, werewolves and vampires as demons. I get that feels. I suppose that's in keeping with the kind of Lord of the Rings type. Yeah, yeah. There are less simple actual creatures or cursed people, and more like no, that they're like actual separate beings. Which is cool. Again, yeah, Lord of the Rings, that Middle Earth, yeah, werewolves and vampires are specific creatures in that setting. If you don't know that, ugh. Yeah. Unless they're possessing somebody, werewolves have no physical form and cannot touch or affect objects. They aren't affected by non. Okay, formless werewolves can attempt to possess a sentient creature. Huh. So yeah, werewolves more as a spirit that possesses someone than a curse. Cool. And What kind of game would it be if there wasn't some kind of shadowy flame demon thing? Love it. Dragons are just bad. Look at those levels, and they're all three types are antagonists. So it's like, yeah, no, don't don't just don't mess with dragons. Just don't. So of course we have to have dragon people too. On top of that, they're scary. We got your evil dwarves. We have general evil men, which includes, hey, bandits, knights, and fucking evil wizards. Love it. And oh god, oh that's ring wraith in training, I guess. I don't know, but I love it. Flying evil creature thingy. Sure. Mori's ghouls. Always up for some different types of undead. You know, I always feel like undead are kind of like are one of those types of enemies in any kind of tabletop game where it's like you don't have to feel bad about killing them because they're already they probably should not exist. Giant eagles. I don't know why giant eagles would be bad. They tend to be hmm. Okay, so these are more like based on what's described here. It's like yeah, these are more helpful NPCs than enemies. Giant spiders, because of course we have to have giant freaking spiders. Oh God, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's great art, but I hate it. Gore crows. Oh, love that. Oh, that is a big bird if that's just proper actually to scale. Kraken. The Kraken, Murloc. What? Okay, interesting. Twisted Undead parody of what's okay. Oh God. Oh God. That's kind of terrifying. That's a terrifying fight. Nightmare. Har har. And of course, your classic orcs, which are, yeah, it's basic classic orcs. Red caps, which I feel like these are, I don't know why we have red caps instead of goblins, but whatever. They're basically goblins. This is like the lowest level common enemy. Yeah. Okay. Skeletons too. Too. Yeah. There's some type undead in here that's also like level one, but still like there's some baddies that are clearly intended to just be, you know, spirits. These are probably more NPC allies than enemies. It's a golem. That's not actually a golem. Trolls. Trolls are good. Cool. Trolls. Da 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 da. Couple more undead. Now we have zombies. Geez, that's always fun. Evil elves. Always cool. Always fun to have that. running with those. Giant wolves, beasts. I got more powerful elite undead with your whites, and really nasty, uh, horrible, nasty wraiths that like I feel like these are the ring wraiths of this game, but as far as I'm concerned, like yeah, these are actually what the ring wraith, the real bat nasty undead type thing. And I believe, yeah, that, yep, okay. And the rest of this is just the rest of it's just looking at spells and stuff, and I don't want to dig into that because that's boring. And then finally, the starter adventure mini campaign, Shadows of the Northern Woods. So that's gonna be it as far as reading through the book goes. Next week we'll probably do. I'm gonna open up Foundry and show off, do some quick character creation, and then do a quick little combat to see all the parts coming together as I am wont to do, for especially for those people who, if you're like me, are like, I need to actually see this stuff in action to understand how all the parts fit together. But yeah, and after that, I think I will probably take that'll be next week, the 20th, and week after that will be the Friday after Christmas. So I'm going to probably take that day off. Probably not going to stream the week after that, and then come January, we'll kick off Dragon Age 2. Ooh, ah. Okay. Hey, so that is for now the plan. And hope if you're watching this, if you're enjoying this, hope you hang around. I I know my tabletop gaming videos tend to do better than my video game streams, but please do like watch my video game stuff. That's where I put more of my energy in, and it gives me, and that requires, I can only talk about, I can only look at PDFs so much and talk about what I'm looking at so much. Sorry, sorry, and I know the, look, I know Veilguard just came out, and believe me, I want to be playing that too, but like, I, I, I want to. I will get to that. I swear I want to. I really do. But anyway, that's it from me for tonight. I come back next week and we'll see the actual Against the Darkmaster in action. We'll have a little band of heroes going up against some minor servants of the Darkmaster or some such. Until then, I'm Sean. I've been Sean, Librarian Writer Geek. Follow me at Librarian Writer Geek here on Twitch and on YouTube. Follow me on Blue Sky as SC Tadson or Librarian Writer Geek. You'll find me either way. Or if you really aren't entirely sure where to go, just go to my website, sctadson.com, where you will find links to Blue Sky and Twitch, YouTube, and all my other stuff. It'll be super, super easy. And you'll also find like some of my writings and thoughts about different things and such. All right, but either either way, if you're watching this on YouTube, do the YouTube things like subscribe, etc. I tend to post have this stuff drop Mondays after I stream it. You know, and if you're not watching this live, if you're only watching it, you're not sure you want to watch this live, please watch the archive version on YouTube where it will actually matter because Twitch doesn't care about, viewing archive stuff. So anyway, anyway, good night. Have a good one. Bye.